Wait, do you ever get disappointed when you're showing someone something for the first time and you really want them to get it? And
No,
they
not
don't?
at all. I think
Yes.
Oh.
Matt knew exactly where I was
Absolutely.
going with that question.
I'm clearly an Eeyore.
I'm probably Rue.
I'm a Christopher Robin with a poo rising.
And then I get in a canoe and I'm like, Clairs don't like canoes.
No, they don't.
I'm afraid of this lake.
That's exactly what it was.
Ow.
It was a beautiful moment in our friendship. I was
literally in the middle of getting her up and down the
Pathetic.
stairs. Ow. I was like, I'm trying to get my hair done. I'm like, ah.
I don't think that's an accurate representation of my owl.
Well, you were in such pain you couldn't see clearly. So,
Trauma.
Thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast. I'm Matt Young. I'm a theater educator and a parent. And ever since I lost my father to cancer, I have been mildly obsessed with death. This is my last will and testament. Oscar Wilde once said, "Memory is the diary that we all carry about with us." That's right, today's episode is all about memory. Guess who's in the big comfy chair today? It's Claire Kenny. She's back. We find some interesting tangents to take. I hope you enjoy this episode.
Hit play? Shall we hit play?
Yeah, here we are.
Oh my goodness. I think you gave a sigh before.
I know. I don't know why I did that.
It was rude.
Sorry.
Rude to the microphone. Not to
Oh.
me. I didn't take it personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's
All right.
got to like smell my breath for the next couple of hours, like coffee and whatever else is in
Look
there.
at what I did to my very large tea compared to what you
It's
did to
gone.
your coffee.
Well, mine, they put too much sugar in mine.
Oh,
Yeah. Plus, it's an iced coffee. I drink my iced coffee very slowly.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you drink your hot coffee very quickly?
It depends. A little faster. Well, a little faster, but not a lot faster.
Instinctually, that doesn't make sense to me.
None of it makes sense. In fact, when I'm at work, I
Yeah.
only drink black coffee, and I drink that way faster. Mostly because it's in the back of the store, like,
Okay.
and then I'll go on the floor where the clients are, and then, like, I'll go to the back when I want to sip, but I'll, like, gulp it because I gotta, like, fuel myself.
I feel like the only way I could drink hot coffee or black coffee is to gulp it because the taste is just... I've tried to
that
be an
could be-
adult about coffee, but I can't. I need to put cream. I need to put
No,
sugar.
it's actually, for me, it's a little bit more of a heartburn thing. Like, I don't know. None of this makes any sense. Like, I'll do this coffee that I'm having today with the cream and sugar, like, maybe once a week.
Okay.
And then at work, I'll do the black coffee because it's like having coffee, but it's a little bit
Healthier?
less unhealthy. Yes, I want to say
Less unhealthy. Okay. That's
because
different
I don't
than
want,
healthier.
I don't
'cause
want to
not
say it's
healthy.
healthier because I don't know if it is,
Right.
but I think sugar and milk coffee on a daily basis gave me heartburn, and then I switched to just black, and it lessened the heartburn because I'm also drinking less of it. 'Cause
Okay.
it's not as tasty.
There's a math equation in there that makes sense, I'm sure. On the
Yeah.
surface, it feels like new math to me. Like black coffee unadulterated would give you more heartburn. I don't know.
I just know that when I didn't, for like 6 weeks this year, when I didn't have any caffeine in my system,
Yeah.
I realized I didn't need caffeine at all.
Okay.
And
Did it make you feel better, or you just didn't need it in
I
order to
didn't-
be awake?
no, I didn't need it to be awake. I just got over the fact that it was something that made me excited.
Yes.
You know, because
Yes.
my thinking shifted. You know,
Absolutely.
all of a sudden I made this really major shift to this new diet type thing, and it was a couple of days of headaches actually without the caffeine,
Right.
and then I got through it, and I was like, I don't really need this, except when I treated myself that one day, because it was when I was starting like my big move. I was like, I'm just gonna allow myself to do this.
Just a little cup of Joe.
It was like really wonderful.
Nice.
And
I think I drink it mentally. Like I look forward to
Mm-hmm.
like a hot cup of coffee, but I don't think it wakes me up because I could take a nap in the morning after
Mm-hmm.
having a cup. The only time I think caffeine affects me is at night when
Mm-hmm.
I have it a little bit too late and I'm not paying attention to it, and then all of a sudden I'm wondering why it's 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock, and I'm still awake and I
maybe
can't
that
get to
is your
sleep.
problem. Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, people.
Hi.
How are you? Good. Glad to hear it.
Wow.
It's Claire and I today, and we are here to talk about, I hope we can remember it, memory. That's our topic. Our topic is memory.
Memory.
Thank you for ding because we couldn't afford to pay for the real memory.
Well, I can't remember the words.
Oh, good. The irony of not remembering the words to memory. Something about moonlight, alone in the moonlight.
We came up with this topic because we couldn't remember what we were going to make this topic about today.
Right. So we had this appointment scheduled, and we had talked a long time about we're going to do this for this date and this for this date. And who has the time to scroll back in a text chain?
Oh, forget it, Matt. I don't think my phone has saved it. I think my phone's like, we're done. You don't have enough storage. It stopped remembering my texts.
Right,
it has.
right.
So I was not about to look back.
You get like 4 days.
And you didn't write it down.
Did I write it down? No.
Do you have a podcast journal?
I do have a bunch of different notes about it. I have some of the guest hosts and what they're going to talk about on May the 4th. Your new bestie is coming in, Lynette. And we're talking about connection and growing your tribe.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep. And I have a few others on the list that I have to reach out to, but then I have a list of topics, some that I didn't think we did and some that I think we did do. But does it say Claire and what the topic would be when we discussed it? Was crazy. I don't remember. And I think we switched the last one up at the last minute. I don't know.
So we forgot what we were going to say. And then I was like, what about memory?
And that made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So.
Because who fucking can remember anything these days?
I was out with Tim the other night. And we went to go see a shoe. And we would often, I would get to the point where I just forget a word. Or I said to him, look, I haven't done a lot of theater this year because the opportunities just haven't been there. And I really, at this age, I wonder how my machine will work in terms of memorizing lines. I'm a little gun shy because I just need to be in practice all the time in order to keep that up. And I should just be like memorizing things by myself. But I'm really like a little insecure about it. And I was like, because I have these conversations and these words disappear and I can't find the words. And he's like, oh, no, that's different. He's like, that's just going to get worse, too. You're just not going to be able to find words. You're going to look for them and they just won't be there. This is what I said to him, too. I was like, I couldn't remember Ben Stiller the other day. Like, I was like, it's Ben S. Ben S. What is his last name? And I mean, how do you forget Ben Stiller?
Oh, that's it's.
That has not been a problem of mine in my lifetime, forgetting these people. You know,
it's interesting. Like the whole memory thing is, it's just weird. Like since COVID, I have struggled with my memory.
Since having COVID or since the lockdown?
Well, it could be one and the same because I didn't have COVID like when we were locked down, but within the 12 months that COVID hit us, I had COVID. And I don't think that it was like I had COVID and then all of a sudden I started forgetting stuff. It was life just changed.
Yeah.
And work changed. Work got busier. Work got different. All of a sudden there were just like everything in our planet was different. So there was like a new adjustment to life. And actually what's really weird now that I'm thinking about this is that I developed a really strong meditation practice during lockdown, which actually really helped it helped slow me down a bit. It helped slow down the loudness and the noise in my head. So I was able to like think clearer and listen to my thoughts, which is great, but the memory thing sort of, I've had to like think about this and sort of pull this apart over the last several years because I've been worried about this.
Right.
Why can't I remember people's names? Why can't I remember certain words? Why am I losing my vocabulary? And a lot of it I think is chalked up to like stress and how fast our lives have become and how busy we've become.
Yeah.
And if I have to focus on what I'm doing today, I might like walk into a store and be like, I forgot what I came here for.
Oh, absolutely.
Or like meet up with a salesperson and then like forget that I have to like make a normal salutation and be like, hi, I'm looking for a TV. But instead I'll be like, wow, look at all those TVs. Wow, look at that over there. Blah, 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 blah. Like my mind is like racing and I can't, like it takes me a second to bring it back to remember my focus.
I experience that from room to room sometimes.
Yep.
Like I'll walk into a room and be like, you came in here with purpose. That purpose has now disappeared. And then I have to go back to where I was in order to try to unlock whatever the thing was.
The puzzle.
I've done it on my phone too. I've gotten out of an app I was looking at to look at another app, not remembered that I wanted to look up this actor on IMDb for whatever reason. And I'm looking at my phone going, what was I supposed to be doing?
I know. And the phone is so fucking distracting.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. It probably is the cause of why my memory has been eaten away.
I have a theory, and it's not my theory, but my sister told me about this, is that there's, I don't know what it's called, but so imagine you're at your job, and this was my job for a while. Before, like I had a little bit of like a hybrid position at my company because I was able to do operations and sales when we were not as busy.
Right.
But then when we got really busy, then all of a sudden I had so much more work to do. So it's like I'm trying to focus on data entry. The phone's ringing, a customer's coming in, people are talking behind me. It's like trying to do data entry in the middle of Times Square.
Yeah.
And everybody needs you. And not split focus, but it was like I had to keep stopping what I was doing to do something else. And then I would have to bring my focus back to the other thing I was doing. And then I would have to, then somebody else would need me. So I was never able to complete a task.
Right.
Task completion or something. Like, and because of that, it actually would drive me insane. I had like stress disorders from doing all of that.
Do you think perhaps that you are in an insane asylum at this moment and the medication is making you fantasize about another life that you are living, but it's really not? Like at the end of the episode, we're going to get to the point where we find out that you're in the mental hospital and this whole thing is not really your real life.
Oh
like
God.
It's kind of a simulation in your brain.
I kind of really hope so.
Oh,
I sort of would like to wake up in a mental hospital and be like, oh my God, I didn't none of that was real. Oh my God, thank God. I could just relax now.
All the stress from your move, you could just relax about. I do have those dreams sometimes, though, where everything is so stressful about whatever reason. I missed the deadline on this, and I should have got the other thing, and everybody's mad at me, and I wake up and go, oh, that's not reality. That's nice. That's nice. All right, let's get to the definition, right? Because that's our way. Otherwise, this is just going to be the podcast, the I'm Getting Old podcast. I can't remember the thing. I can't remember
shit.
Memory is a cognitive function that allows individuals to encode, store, and retrieve information. It is essential for learning, decision-making, and overall functioning, enabling us to retain past experiences, knowledge, skills, and perception over time. In a broader context, memory can also refer to the process of recalling or recognizing previous experiences or information, which is kind of like what we're talking about. The stored information itself within the brain or a computer system, we could call that memory, all that blah, blah, blah. Short-term, long-term memory, blah, 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 blah.
Are you just skipping some of it?
Yeah, because it's not, usually it's just like a chunk. But really, ours is about what we want to talk about is the recalling and recognizing previous experiences and information. I don't think we want to spend an hour talking about the memory on my computer and how it makes it run fast, or the storage on my computer and how I need to use an external hard drive in order to keep all of the data and video editing stuff.
It's kind of the same,
stored.
though. It's sort of the same as what our memories are.
Except the computer is much more reliable, and it's not. No, well,
it is. I'm so super creeped out by it.
Well, I understand that, but your memory and my memory of the same event could be very different.
Yes, I love that.
You know, when a computer, that's not going to happen. A computer's going to remember the facts of it and then show that I was right and you were wrong. Claire's making a face.
Well, you know the Black Mirror episodes, which I haven't seen, like the newer Black Mirrors.
They're devastating.
Oh, okay.
I can only do it in small doses because at the end I'm like, that's so well done, and I feel so hollow and empty inside.
Oh, wow.
They do it so well. So well.
Are they like sad?
Some of them, the first one of this new season is fucking brutal.
What? Why? I mean, I like dark, weird shit.
Okay.
So I probably should watch these, but
Yes.
there's something about it that makes me like not want to watch it because I think, okay, so let's say there's like an ad for a show on Netflix. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Because I'm curious. I'm open to seeing where it takes me.
You are Netflix curious.
Yeah.
That's a way to define Claire.
And I've had some pretty good Netflix watches in the last couple weeks. With Black Mirror, I kind of know where it might take me.
Yes.
And I'm a little afraid of that. Okay, but okay. The reason I bring up Black Mirror is because in the earlier episodes, they had this there's this like this tech oh my god, I can't fucking think of how to explain this because
Or you can't remember the word that you
I don't know the words today. Yeah. But you know, they have these like microchips in your eyeballs that you can watch the memories or the things. So, like there's a microchip in your head.
Yep.
It records what happened. You can go back and watch it.
Yes.
Why do I bring this up? Oh,
we're talking about memory.
Can we? Okay, if we could do that today, it would solve a lot of problems. But I think maybe not. But people will still have differing opinions on a situation that happened.
Yeah.
So, a thing that might have happened that both you and I experienced. I might remember it, like we could go back and watch it, right? But we'll be like, okay, this is what happened. They put this over there,
right? And
they walked over here, so we can look at the facts, and then I'll say, well, I remembered this really bothering me,
right? Or it could even bother you rewatching it, give you an emotional.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You know,
but then you might look at it and be like, I don't see what the problem is,
right? So
then I had a negative reaction to that quote unquote memory. And you didn't. So this is what's interesting about life and humanity and the progression of time is that whatever has happened in our lives shapes who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
The end.
Thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast. I actually, as you were saying that, I had a couple of really like sad thoughts. So on brand, right?
Yeah.
You know, my father's been gone for about 25 years at this point. And there are some memories that are very, very clear, and then there are others that I like struggle to kind of relive. And sometimes that'll make me very, very sad. And then I will laugh like my father. And it'll take me right back. And I just want to tell everybody, I don't because...
you laugh like him? Like you sound like his
I will laugh like I remember him laughing. And I'll think... I'll just be fed by that, the beauty of that. Like I'm experiencing him through myself.
Wow.
In that moment, and that obviously that takes the sadness away. But I do want to be like, that was my dad. Like, for those who don't know him, I'll be like, oh, that's the way my dad laughed. For some reason, I get self-conscious and I don't often say anything. Like right before we started taping, we were talking and we were teasing each other about inviting me over to your place and all of that, and then you walked away and I laughed. I gave it like a ha laugh, and right away I was like, that's my dad. That's how he would laugh. Not his only laugh, but like that reminded me, and that took me right to him. And
next time that happens, can you tell me?
yes, absolutely. I promise I will do that. It's not the right term, but like, is that a cheap memory? Because it's not really a memory of. Well, it is.
But
I don't know.
It's a memory that's actually embedded in your body.
Yes. And I want to be able to fully enjoy it. Like I remember something totally like another memory, like one that's very clear for me is he grew up very poor, and he always wanted there were things about success to him that were really, really important. And not that he chased them, but when the opportunities came, he grabbed them. Mm-hmm. Like he was a member of a golf club that he worked at as a kid. Like that was a big step for him to be a member of this country club, because he had worked at it. Another one of those things was he just a sign of success was having a Rolls Royce. So eventually, when he had an opportunity to buy a Rolls Royce, he bought a Rolls Royce. And I remember the first time he picked me up from the train station coming in from Manhattan, and just the joy, and that he put Grey Poupon in the glove compartment so he could make the joke to anybody. There was an old Grey Poupon commercial where two Rolls Royces pulled up again next to each other, and he's like, "Pardon me, but do you have any Grey Poupon?" And he's like, "But of course." And they had the Grey Poupon.
That's really random. The only when you say Rolls Royce, I'm only imagining like a ginormous black car from like the 1930s.
Well, they definitely had that look. It wasn't ginormous. His was I want to say pearl. It was a pearl white. But he just had such joy. Mm-hmm. That was a big thing for him to show off for me. Mm-hmm. Even if I think he did it because he wanted to make his Grey Poupon joke. That was important to him as well.
There is a book that I have that a lot of people I know have. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. And It is about the way our body stores information based on the things that have happened to us. And the reason for this book is for people to help understand trauma. Why does my body do this thing when I do something? And, like maybe, and the idea is something happened to you when you were younger and you might have forgotten it, but your body didn't forget it. And then when you grow up, maybe you're experiencing some sort of psychological issue, and you have to work through to find out, like, what's the connection? Like, why is my body doing this thing that I don't understand? It's like I will have, and I have this book because I've had this experience. I've had really, no words. I've had experiences where my body has reacted to something and it doesn't make sense. I'm like, this thing has happened, and I rationally know what's happening, but my body is failing me. I like, and this hasn't happened in a while, but my body will, if I'm in extreme like anxiety or panic, or I feel trapped, and it's particularly within relationships. If I feel like I'm not in something that I should be in, like I won't know it. My mind and my heart won't be able to recognize it at first, but my body will. And my body will experience extreme panic. And I will actually like go cold, like have like stress reactions from like the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. And I'll actually like throw up.
And this is in a relationship.
It's in a relationship that's not going well.
Right. So like, but nothing, no like event has happened, but your body is reacting as if.
Yeah. Well, it'll be triggered by something.
Your body's letting you know.
Yeah.
I think you said this earlier today too. Like, you gotta, when your body makes these decisions, you gotta trust when it's speaking to you.
But, and most.
How do you explain that in a breakup letter? I didn't realize things weren't going well.
Yeah.
But my body had a convulsion and I vomited.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute I thought deeper, I just realized it was because of you.
I've had
I feel like I
Yeah.
can get that letter someday.
no, and I've had that experience.
Yeah.
I haven't had to say that, but
No, because you're probably more caring about somebody's feelings.
well,
than
I
that
also
one.
don't have to tell them, like it's none of their business, but I just have to tell them like it's over. Anyway, I mean, it's it hasn't happened in long-term relationships. It's only like, and this is why I'm so hesitant about dating is because,
You don't want that feeling.
it's because
I want to vomit only because I'm sick, not because I'm in a relationship that's not working.
I still haven't cracked this. Like, I still haven't figured out like what the issue is. But basically, like, if I meet somebody and I really, really like them and I'm really attracted to them, all of that, the crazy, exciting butterfly vibes.
Yep.
If I act on those right away,
Yeah.
I will ignore the things that are really important to me. Like,
Okay, yeah,
basically,
yeah.
I'll move, my body will move faster than my heart will. So I won't really get to know that person, let's say, before I get super like physically intimate with them.
Right, or whatever your emotional needs are, you'll bypass that.
Yep.
For your physical needs, you
Yes.
animal.
I know.
No,
It's-
what is wrong with that though?
I'll
too?
tell you.
Okay, you tell me.
Because when the emotional side kicks in,
yes,
and I'm with that person for a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong, or they have said something that doesn't align with what I think is important, my body will say, wait. And then it will go into shock. It will go into like shock mode. This literally happened a couple of years ago.
I thought you were going to say a couple of weeks ago.
No, this happened a couple of years ago when I was with this I met this guy.
Was this the guy that we were talking about when we went for a walk in Waveney? I feel like.
No, I think it was after that.
Okay. Was that guy did he go to jail? Was that,
No.
No,
No.
But there was a guy who nothing. I'm remembering it wrong.
Well, I mean,
memory
maybe,
is not so good.
I might have liked somebody who might be in jail now. You never know. But
We got to make a list and then check the records.
I forgot about that one. That was a totally different story. But
all right, you tell the story.
No, I fell for this guy. Like I don't really know how far I fell for him, but we connected on a physical level. We really liked each other, this and that. And then a few weeks later, we were in the car and I asked him a question about something and I didn't like the answer.
Right.
And all of a sudden,
Said like women aren't smart enough to make the choices in their life. They need a man to make these choices.
I don't want to really say what it
Yeah,
was
you don't have to.
specifically because you just,
I hit it on the head,
But
I know.
of course, I'm happy to tell you about it like when we're off air.
Yes.
Because then it'll make a lot of sense to you. But I didn't like his answer. And I was like, this doesn't feel right.
Right.
We were driving to go spend a night together in a hotel.
Okay.
Because neither of us we were both staying at our parents' house at
Right.
the time or something, so we didn't have privacy. So we were going to spend a night together alone in a hotel. And we're driving there, and I'm like, wait, I don't like what he said. And now all of a sudden I feel trapped. I feel
That's really, really not good.
it was a really scary feeling.
Yeah.
But everything changed. Like instead of feeling like safe with this person, I felt threatened by this person.
Yeah.
And then I felt trapped. And then I was like, oh no, I just committed to spending a night in a hotel with this person. And now that's the last thing I want to do. And I'll spare the details. Everything ended up being okay, but it did.
Were you intimate with him though that night?
Yes, but I had already been intimate with him before.
I know, but like I feel like
And everything was fine.
awful.
And whatever he said that wasn't good was not it wasn't a terrible, horrible thing. Like it was just something that I was like, oh,
But it gave you a deep reaction.
I did throw up that night. And then he was like, "Do you want to go home?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And then I didn't. After making that admission that I
Oh, you told him?
no,
you just told him to move on.
I told him I was like, "I'm having a panic attack right now." And he was like, "Oh, okay. What should we do?" And then eventually he was like, "Do you want to go home?" And I was like, "Yes." But then we sort of like, because I said yes, I felt so much better.
Right. It's not like he said, "Well, I paid for the room, so we should stay."
Yeah.
No, he was actually
he was great. Yeah.
really understanding it.
Yeah, and it was but the thing is, and the whole reason I even bring this up is because I still haven't cracked it.
Right.
I haven't cracked this in therapy. Like, because it's also happened so few and far between that I haven't been able to like really nail it. It's like, okay, well, what's happening? What is stored in Claire's body? What memory is stored in Claire's body that is making her react in this really severe way to these situations that makes her body convulse? Yes. I can't believe I've never told you any of this.
I don't remember any of it, and maybe it's my bad memory, but no, I don't think I've ever told you really in detail. No, that's it
hasn't happened in a while.
Well, that's good.
Also, I haven't really dated because I'm just so scared.
So you think it's a direct relation?
It's just my life is so much easier, like without dating,
convulsing,
without puke anxiety,
going into shock, and that would definitely deter me. Maybe I need it.
Well, it's more like now I'm so much extra picky because now I go at a fucking snail's pace.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I'm really, if I meet somebody I'm super attracted to, I'm like, oh no, don't do it.
Right. Right.
Like, or
you gotta ask that same question and see what the answer is. You gotta have a list of Claire's questions. Will you send me into the vomits?
Oh my God, I'm gonna when we get off air, I'm gonna tell you what it is.
My goodness,
you're gonna get it, and you're not gonna get it at the same time.
Again, thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast. That's our show for today. So
memory.
I'm wondering for myself if I have that. Traumatic memory. Physicalization in my body based upon certain things. It feels familiar, but because my memory is so bad, like even last night when we were just talking about movies that hit certain things for us, it was hard for me to recall certain movies, and I've never had that problem in my life. So I feel like I've experienced that where I've had not a panic attack, but deep anxiety, and I don't know where it comes from. Mm-hmm. I think I had deep anxiety driving to the party last night.
Really?
Yeah, like I was feeling very hollowed out inside me. A little bit of like what I think is the vibration of anxiety. At least that's how I
just carved you out from the inside.
Yeah. I mean, I was spiraling about certain other thoughts, and so maybe that was the thing that brought it on, and it wasn't the party. Mm-hmm. But I definitely have something when it comes to being
it's a social thing.
Because I used to not go out to bars after shows and stuff like that. Getting me to go out after a show was a really tough thing to do because I would go to the bar and I would just feel like I had nothing to say, and I just was not fun for me at all to be social, even though I wanted to be social. I just was never comfortable with it. It's
interesting because you were a great part of that party last night.
Thank you.
And I actually, it's hard to call it a party because parties to me are very.
But there was music.
There was music, but we weren't all standing.
No.
To me, I imagine a party with like you're making a lot of small talk with people and you're standing around.
Yes, and they're different pockets of conversation too.
Right.
And you pop from conversation to conversation.
But this
was
one,
like a room of just people talking
and it was good people.
Yeah.
And good conversation, intelligent conversation, and the proper amount of nerdy topics, which I hate to say because that sounds like
No, I mean we covered the Titanic and World War I and Star Wars and
Lord of the Rings ish. We touched on it with the importance of Tolkien.
Yes.
And how if we didn't have World War I, we would not have Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Which
and how Tolkien hated
made me-
Narnia. That's we got a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I felt very comfortable. I don't know.
Well,
I didn't know a lot of the people that well, and I liked them.
Well,
I
and
wouldn't
that's
mind hanging out with them again.
but that's the thing about the anxiety is that, and we probably should have a whole separate podcast on anxiety, which I think we've been avoiding.
Because it gives us anxiety.
Well, because there's so much.
Yeah.
But
It's a three-parter. It's a trilogy.
It's a anxiety is not tangible, and
it lives in us in different ways.
yes, and so I try to remind, and I think the medication that I started to take 15 years ago really helped with this. It really helped cut out the anticipatory dread of things.
Ooh.
Because I used to have that.
That would be the first line of my advertising slogan for that drug.
It's a lot of syllables though.
Well, I would give it. Well,
I mean, if you had it on a billboard, you might have to take your eyes off the road a little too long to read it.
maybe billboard's not the right way to go then for that one.
Fine.
But I think though people identify with what you just said.
Yeah.
You know, if I could get rid of the dread that I have.
Yeah.
And anticipating what could be.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also have to remind myself that I can get out of something. It's okay for me to leave if I'm uncomfortable.
What a sign of success for us last night when we left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it could have been like an hour and 15 and gone. We would have felt bad.
Well,
like
I was having a good time, and
Yep.
I was the only reason I was I didn't want to not go to the party, but I had a really long day and I had a really long week, and I was worried that I was gonna get there and I was gonna be too tired. But you know, the people bring me joy, you know, and the people who were there, and particularly Rachel. Rachel feels to me like home.
Yeah.
So I could be anywhere with Rachel and feel comfortable. And I almost forgot that before I got there. And as soon as I got there, I was embraced in a warm hug. And then I felt like I was in that warm hug the whole time.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
hugged by daddy.
Hugged by daddy.
It's an inside joke.
She was wearing a shirt that said daddy.
There you go. Not inside anymore.
But I didn't want to leave, you know, and I actually made myself leave at the time that I did because I wanted to go home and tidy up my apartment for a little bit before I went to bed. And even when I got home, I was like, I had a third wind, give it, you know, I was like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to clean my bathroom and I'm going to vacuum. And I'm like, okay, I have neighbors. I shouldn't do that.
Not vacuuming.
But, you know, it was really surprising because I forgot how long and arduous my week was when I was there. And that is I think the antithesis of anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, and then the thing is that anxiety just ruins you.
Yeah. I mean, look, Inside Out 2 gets it perfectly.
Yeah.
The way they visualize how anxiety can take over everything and that nothing else can get in, and that it brings out almost the worst parts of us. Not the worst parts, but the such unhealthy parts. Anyways, memory. That's what we're talking about. Isn't it amazing how we can get to wherever we can get to?
I know,
sometimes?
I feel bad. I feel like I really wanted to bring that back, and I failed.
You couldn't remember how you wanted to bring it back? No, I mean, because look, we're talking.
I don't think I was capable.
We're spending a lot more time with the physical, traumatic memory in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe traumatic is too dramatic a word for what it is, but we do have these experiences that live in our bodies that are caused by something, and trying to figure that out. I would think, although I only play doctors. And amateur productions of things. I'm not a real doctor. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh.
But
I want my money back.
Oof. I've spent most of it. these things happen. Anxiety exists in us, not only because of chemical imbalance, but like usually because of events that lead us to react like this.
Yeah, like why? What is the core memory that
Right.
that our body has remembered that has caused us to react this way physically
Yeah.
or mentally?
Well, look, I don't like to be social and go to parties for the most part because I can clearly remember how uncomfortable I felt at so many different parties growing up, not knowing how to be myself
Okay.
in social situations. And so I'm very much inside my brain, and that feeling of dread and disconnection from people and wanting to connect and then feeling lonely around a group of other people. That feeling, not the memory of whatever the event was, but the memory of the feeling lives in me as I'm driving to that party last night.
Nailed
You
it.
know?
Nailed it.
So
You brought it back. Good job.
nice. Should we talk about happy memories? I mean, like there's a thing.
Why?
Well, there's a thing in acting, like it's called sense memory, right? Where you are using your own experience in order to create a feeling inside you that may be appropriate for a scene that you're dealing with. I think for myself, I understand how powerful that can be in a rehearsal, but you also need to parallel it with the idea of like, you have to play the given circumstances. You have to, or at least you have to be aware of the given circumstances. You have to be aware of what your objective is and what your action is to get it. What do I want and how do I get what I want? Because I think people live. And if you're just trying to figure out what the emotion is, it's not really connected to everything else. But sometimes it calls for a certain feeling, and you have to go back in your memory to make something real for yourself. I know a lot of professors don't believe in creating memories in order to give feeling. I don't know that I totally believe that that's true. I think some people are very creative in their imaginations and can evoke different feelings in themselves by creating scenarios. But I also know for myself that when I use memory in order to uncover something, the real memory is the thing that gives it such like depth to it. Also, I think sense memory is a little different. I think I misspoke. I think sense memory is the idea of you have a prop like a pen and you endow that pen. Well, that pen was given to me by my grandfather who raised me. It was the last thing he gave me before I died. And so when you hold the pen on stage, it has a different feeling, but that's also your imagination.
That's really
That's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot.
know,
I mean,
it's
there's
true.
imagination, but there's, if you're really creative and you're capable of invoking a certain emotion out of nowhere, that's pretty cool. It also, I mean, when I think about it, like for myself, I think it's a little bit psychotic. I'm like, wow, that's a little bit bizarre. Two things. One,
Lay it
that
on me.
that thing that you mentioned, the sense memory, whether or not that's what that is, that has helped me a lot in sales. I can really
Yes, I would imagine. Yeah.
I can really adapt to a situation based on what's happening. Whatever the client has shared with me, I change my demeanor, and I make a decision on how I'm going to interact with this person based on what they said to me. And based on their story, happy or sad or angry or this or that. The other thing is that last night my sister we were talking about how she's giving a speech for her best friend's wedding next week. And she wrote the speech and she was practicing reciting the speech and she couldn't do it without crying.
Yeah.
And then she said she finally got through it without crying because she dug her nails into her palm to give herself pain, so she was distracted,
Juliana,
so that she didn't cry. And I was like, that sounds kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
And then she said, but haven't you ever been in a business faced a situation before, or like a business meeting, and something has made you so upset that you want to cry, and you have to like bite your lip and make your mouth bleed or something to distract you from crying? And I'm like, no, but I haven't done that. And I'm trying to think of situations I've been in before, and the first one I could think of was like, well, no, because I just cry.
Right.
Or I actually sometimes I just
breathe deep.
I try to I trick myself psychologically somehow into coping with that moment.
You can give yourself I don't want to say positive thoughts, but other lighter thoughts in your brain in order to kind of balance yourself out.
And it's a little bit like acting. Like you kind of have to change. You got to change the scenery.
Yep.
And I also said to her, like, oh, well, I try to be present. But now that I'm saying that, like, I don't know if I am trying to be present, because sometimes the present is painful. So sometimes you have to change the present. It's a little bit like disassociating.
Yes.
But not in an extreme way.
Well, it's certainly a lot healthier than causing yourself physical pain in order to.
Yeah, she said it like it was normal, and I wonder if people do that.
I don't know.
Maybe
it doesn't seem right to me. Causing yourself pain to do it. First of all, it's a mistake to not share your emotions with your friend that you're making a speech for on their wedding.
Yeah, in a business scenario, I can understand that totally.
But there's also like, what if you embellished? You know, and the tears came a little bit, but you put yourself together. Do you think that would endear the client to you? I think there's a way to make them. Where the sale is even deeper, because you're making them feel like they're special and that you have been able to be vulnerable with them based upon them touching you, not physically, but their story touching you in some way. I just don't think I just think that causing yourself a distraction.
Well, my line of work is
emotional. I would think emotional.
But you also have to remember, like, it's supposed to be like it's stuff. It's just stuff. The tricky part of my job would be not the client facing aspect. It's more the business aspect of it, like, dealing with your coworkers and your managers type thing. Like, those would be the tricky conversations to have, where you might want to bite your lip because you might want to cry because you're not, and you're in a meeting with them that you're not happy with.
Yes.
But to me, what I have to do is I have to use my acting skills.
Yeah. Every day of your life, you're using your acting skills. No, I'm with the clients though. I mean, look, you buy a car. Maybe the first car you buy is emotional, right? The first house you buy is emotional. Usually, I think when you're buying jewelry, there is some emotional attachment to the gift that it is, the way you're treating yourself, all of that. So tapping into emotions for that kind of sale feels like it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I didn't think about you talking to other people, but always in those situations, it's always like, excuse me, I got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, for sure.
I got to pee or whatever it is. You just get
and
out
that's that is a healthy skill.
Yes. Please don't sit there and scratch yourself, and tell your sister to just let it flow.
Yeah, well,
she's gonna do what she's gonna do, right? She's stubborn.
She's I mean, when it comes to, she's always often talked about, like, if you have a bug bite, she's like, you take a knife and you make an X in the bug bite, and I'm like, why do you have to do that? Why can't you just put afterbite on it? Like, why do you have to impale yourself?
You can, but also, like, you don't use a knife, you use your fingernail.
I think it's probably, in her experience, maybe it's better to use a knife.
You use your fingernail, make a little X in it. That's it. You don't use a knife.
Well, I have long nails. Maybe she doesn't. Anyways, let's get back to the topic here. Please.
We have to send some help. So, memory is a huge, it can be a huge thing. I looked up sense memory. It gave me like a huge, long thing, but let's see if we can get to the bottom of it, because I'm not going to feel right if I gave people misinformation. Sense memory acting theory is a concept primarily associated with method acting, which there is a confusion about what method acting actually is. People think method acting is you have to live the character all the time, but really, all acting is method acting because it's a method that you use. Anyways, method acting is the work of practitioners like Lee Strasberg. And the work of Lee Strasberg. It emphasizes the use of the actor's personal sensory experiences to evoke genuine emotions and bring realism to their performance. Overview of sense memory. Definition. Sense memory is the technique of recalling specific sensory experiences from an actor's own life, such as sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and tactile sensations. They are similar to those of the character's situations. Sometimes they're the opposite, and that's what makes it interesting. By re-experiencing these sensations mentally, the actor can associate authentic emotions associated with those memories. Okay, so I was right at the beginning. The idea of endowing the pen with Grandpa's ghost or whatever, that's a different theory. I can't remember what that is called. But, like, yeah, the method, people think it's like you just have to live the character. But no, the truth is you have a rehearsal process where you're then experiencing the things that you think the character is experiencing. You're using your own to unlock those things. And then you create triggers for it so that you're not having to go through the rigmarole of, like, creating the memory again. You're just kind of living in it. So it's not like it's an out of control, like you are being possessed by your memories and stuff like that.
It is a kind of weird, though. Like, it's a bit much. Like, and I know that, like, I can create these scenarios and be doing them on stage. But it's a pretty intense experience.
Yeah, you don't do it for puffs. You know, it's not necessary for puffs.
But
I mean, maybe for Wayne at certain points, but, like, it doesn't seem that strange to me, though, because I feel like when you use it well, and I may have used this example before, but, like, I was doing a scene about betrayal. And so I was trying to, and this is what I was taught by the wonderful George Morrison. You don't use memories that are out of control. He would be mad at me if I was using the day my father died to evoke some sort of emotion from me for acting. You know, he says you have to be more creative. And if you are using an emotion that makes you, or you're using a memory that's a little out of control for you, that has that sort of intensity, like you got one of our one of the professors who also worked in the office. She got mugged. They all got, like, mugged on the street one night, and it was really scary and all of this stuff. But then she had said something, I think, this is what my memory is telling me. She said something to George like, well, at least I can use this in my work. And he was like, no, that doesn't make sense, because that fear was so deep, and it could be so out of control that you'll never be able to control what goes on. So it's like, you've got to be creative. So I always thought this, like, I lived on the Upper East Side, and school was on West 30th Street. And so I had to take the subway to get to school every day and all of that. And I have a habit of being late, which if I was a professional would be a real problem, but I'm not, so I'm okay. And I would get to my train, and I would be at the top of the stairs, and I have to go down, like, one set of stairs. I'd be at the top of the stairs, and this happened many, many times. The train is there, and the doors are open. And so I've got to get down the stairs and through and just on the train. I just got to get on the train. And more times than not, I'd get to the door, and the door would close on me, and the train would go away. And the sense of betrayal I felt was so real and so deep and visceral. I was having a real moment every time that this happened to me. And I was like, oh, that's the thing that I need to use. I'm experiencing a real feeling of betrayal, but realistically, I know it's a fucking train. It's not really betraying me. I'm not really being betrayed by a friend or whatever, something that would be totally out of control.
You're really mad at yourself.
Yeah, oh, definitely mad at myself. But I'm experiencing it as...
It's so much easier to blame the train.
Yeah, for sure. And look, so
that just happened to me the other day.
Did it?
Yeah. I was so mad at Metro North.
But it's a real deep emotion. You know, it's not fake. But that's something that you could use. So it was
Yes.
always about finding those things in my life that weren't at the level that I wouldn't be able to control it. That I could use. And so that to me that makes sense in terms of my sense memory. But I use it all the time, but I also just go by feel. Anyways, so you can use happy memories. Definitely there are times where I will sit in a happy memory sometimes. As like a proactive way of trying to shift my mood. So I think it's still a part of who I am. Obviously they change and they shift, and I hope they have some truth in them. But just the forgetting part, forgetting words and stuff like that, is a real frustration. I don't know. What are we saying about memory? I mean,
it's there's two things. There's the forgetfulness, and then there's memory, which we also touched on. So
I mean, it's what makes pictures really nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I think forgetfulness too it has to do with memory, but also I've been finding that the forgetfulness thing has been so much more prevalent in the last couple of years of my life. And the more I talk about it with other people, they have, okay.
The same experience, or
I'm trying to get the word. I'm going to get it.
That would be the accomplishment of the podcast. Just the
commiserate. Yes, I got it. Okay. They will commiserate.
We have done the Lord's work today. Yeah. I mean, that makes us feel a little bit better. That's what Tim was doing for me the other night, was like, hey, I'm with you. Like, don't worry about you memorizing lines and stuff like that. This happens to all of us. We lose we lose words all the time.
What I do not appreciate people saying to me is, Claire, you're too young for that. You're too young to forget what you walked into the room for. And I'm like, well, that makes me
fucking dare you.
That makes me feel terrible. That makes me feel like I have a neurological disorder now.
Right.
Because I am forgetting that. Well, just because you said it doesn't mean it's, oh, and you know what? You're right. I actually didn't forget that thing. I'm so silly.
You were telling a story last night. I don't know if you want to tell it or whatever, but it was about someone going to the doctor and hoping they had something wrong with them because they couldn't believe their behaviors, and I think that's what that comment makes people feel like. Who said it to you? I want names.
No.
Okay. I tried, people. This was fun. I don't know that I knew what it was going to be. I know that I have a certain feeling about my memory. I think I don't think about indulging in my own memories and thoughts. Like, I don't think about it. I just do it. But I do have a panic about forgetting things, because I feel like I forget things. Like, that's so much louder in my brain than the good part of it.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good thing to bring up. And I just brought this up to my sister too about like in the last year, I have been so much more panicked about like packing up and preparing for certain events, like a vacation, or this week I had an event that I had to plan for, and I needed to prepare food and a backpack and a change of clothes and a this and that and the other. And I was so worried that I was going to forget something really small but super important, like my phone charger, or my medicine, or my change of shoes, like something that was going to severely affect me if I forgot it.
Right.
I was like, my body felt nervousness preparing for these things. There's an app that I forgot. It's something milk. Don't forget the milk or something that she said you could download, and it helps you like check off the
things that you want to take.
The things that you need to take.
I play so fast and loose with packing. It's so bizarre. I don't get it. Like, I should be making lists, and I should be, but I kind of wait till the last minute, and there's an adrenaline in me that gets it going. And for the most part, throughout most of my life, I have not forgotten these things. I don't know what it is. Especially when it comes to like packing, I just will do it. And oftentimes I'm packing for the boys as well. And
I don't know how you do that.
But I like fast and loose. I swear to God, I should be so much more prepared.
But don't you forget things that are important, like your
Not
other shoe?
Really?
Oh,
I not really. But I think when I do, when I do prepare, and I forget something, it's really hard for me to get over that mistake. When I play fast and loose, and I forget something, it rolls off my back pretty easy. But I honestly, I don't forget things when it comes to like that packing and preparing and stuff like that. But like I'll put all these things by the door that I want to take to school, or I remember that I want to bring this and that into school, and then I'm all prepared, and then I get to school and go, oh, you forgot that other fucking thing, you stupid idiot! Why did you? So I gotta play fast and loose because it's the only way I'm easy with myself.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
That's an hour, Claire.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That
was good.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Oh my gosh.
Well, thanks for listening, and we'll be with you soon.
You'll be with us.
Yeah,
what?
you will be with us,
You'll be
people.
with us.
Because if you're listening to this, you are with us. If you made it all the way to
the end.
1 hour and 1 minute.
It's a good one. This is a good one.
I think it was fun.
Happy you made it here.
Yes, it's a happy.
Thanks for coming.
Good to see you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Well, that was our episode. It was nice to get back with Claire and have a fun conversation about memory. So often during the actual episode, we would hit the place where we would try to be thinking of a word, and that word would totally and completely escape us. Ironic, I guess you could say. Certainly. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening to the Last Will podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe. That really helps us out. If you want to get in touch with us, you can DM us at the Last Will podcast on Instagram, or you can email me at mattyoung@thelastwillpodcast.com. Until next week, onward, forward,